For centuries, indigenous shamans of the Amazon have sung to ayahuasca, a psychoactive plant mixture believed to heal the mind, body, and spirit of those who drink it. The ayahuasqueros regard the plant as a sentient, intelligent being that connects them to the natural world and imparts ancient wisdom through ceremony. Now, people from all over the world are being called to hear the Icaros. And although each experience is unique in itself, those who hear these sacred songs see a common vision and a critical message for humanity.
I think that ayahuasca is trying to catalyze consciousness change on a global scale as a mechanism to avert the disaster that we're facing. You know, before we can begin to address it, we have to wake up. The plant teachers are saying, wake up. You know, I think that part of the ayahuasca tourism phenomena, ayahuasca has become a global phenomenon, partly because I think it's like it's an ambassador from the Gaian mind, if you want to put it that way. The community of species on the planet is trying to get us to wake up and realize the damage that we're doing.
Well, ayahuasca can help people wake up. It can certainly help people wake up by opening the third eye, or simply by putting them in touch with realities that they had repressed, or putting them in touch with an aspect of themselves that they lost contact with. It can help people wake up.
We don't have a lot of time left, and this is the only, I feel, the last best hope to avert these accelerating environmental disasters that are going to overtake us very soon.
This is the planet that has created psilocybin mushrooms and ayahuasca and 5-MeO-DMT, and these things slot into our neural brain structure because they're meant to. We have a cannabinoid system which is so ancient, you know, that it has a relationship with cannabis which goes back hundreds of thousands of years. We're meant to plug back into nature through these plants, and when we do, it pulls back the curtain and it opens up the vast ecology beyond the physical world, and we feel nature again. And on some level, it seems to be she may be working to transmit information across species lines through the entheogens and to connect us to the larger majesty of what she really is.
There is so much about the values of Western civilization that are questionable to me, that seem to be in denial of life in a certain way.
We live in a materialistic society, which means that we don't like to look at the larger picture. And the same thing is true in medicine. So there's just a resistance. And of course, if, for example, physicians or lawyers and judges or policymakers or educators understood the implications of this biopsychosocial view, a whole lot of things would have to change. How we practice medicine would have to radically change. How we educated kids would have to radically change. What kind of parenting advice we give to young mothers and fathers would have to change. What kind of social policies we would enact and pursue would have to change. And there's tremendous conservatism and resistance to change. So whether this perspective is accepted has not to do with its merits, it has to do with the challenge that it poses to the way things are.
The medicines are for when you're sick. We have been sick as a planetary culture. A lot of us still are. The medicines are there to cleanse us, to help heal us, and then to reveal that we are our own medicine. And the next step is to plug back in ourselves as a global culture.
I mean, there's every reason to question the health of this culture. So as this breakdown becomes more apparent, there's also naturally more of a desire to find out what's going on and to look for alternative ways of understanding ourselves.
If people are skeptical, I would challenge them to keep an open mind, to reflect on the possibility that they may not be as fully informed as they might, just as, again, the church fathers hundreds of years ago weren't as fully informed about the cosmos because they refused to look through telescopes and see that there were actually empirical ways of knowing, experiences that they could have that would shift their perspective from a geocentric model of the universe to a heliocentric model of the universe, and that kind of paradigm shift is perhaps what we need today.
Remember, we used to think the Earth was the center of the universe. And then we got that the sun was the center of the universe. Then we got the sun as like, a fifth-rate star in a third-rate galaxy in some little corner of space. So the universe isn't begun to show us what is going on.
I would love to see less arrogance on our part as kind of northerners and westerners about how great we are and how great our science is, and more humility about understanding what we don't understand. Accepting that there's a lot of things we don't understand that our particular perspective just doesn't encompass or can account for. So I've learned a lot from my limited exposure to traditional medicinal practices.
They're more than therapeutic, right? I mean, they have that, and that's important. They're also tools for understanding the mind and consciousness. I think that is important, and I also think that they're tools for understanding the world. In a sense, they're scientific instruments through which you can look at the world in a way that you've never looked at before. And if you happen to be a natural philosopher or someone studying nature, it can be as important as a telescope or a microscope. It's an instrument.
I think it's helpful to think of ayahuasca as a kind of cognitive tool that can literally shape our neural architecture. But it's not just the plant itself. Again, it's the cultural system in which it's embedded that allows us to benefit from the kinds of insights that Indigenous people have discovered. It can help to realize, both in terms of healing and in terms of learning. And so I think our modern systems of education could very much benefit from exploring ideas around other ways of learning, other ways of knowing, that perhaps not all knowledge that is valuable is based in letters and numbers, that perhaps there's other kinds of tools that we can use that extend the limits of human perception.
We have certain experiences that give us a certain point of view. And like the Buddha said, with our thoughts we create the world. It's our thoughts that create the world that we live in. But what kind of thoughts? Those thoughts are based on a certain kind of experience.
This work is about cleaning yourself out, expanding consciousness, and becoming a better person. Really, all those things put together can really open a person up to a whole new way of living.
I'm seeing both a tremendous crisis and a situation where things are actually getting worse. But that is also inducing or triggering tremendous curiosity and interest and people wanting new ways of understanding their experience. Things are not working, which also means more people are waking up.
The vast problems faced by humanity are systematically interconnected and interdependent. Through a deeper ecological perspective accessed by communicating with the plant teachers, we begin to see ourselves as a single strand in a vastly complex web of life. One does not need to drink ayahuasca to see this unified vision of the cosmos and understand the universal connectedness of all living things. In fact, we need look no further than the forefront of contemporary science. But for those who the plants call, for those who are pulled to explore the unknown, for those who long to hear the Icaros, then come and meet the plant teacher.